Hi guys, it's Ivan Trades again, and today we are on the first day of June. We are on 1st June 2025. We are on Sunday, and I wanted to make a short trade weekend recap. And so far, in brief, this week is like the usual one. I took like 4 trades, and yeah, I think like 3 trades, and 2 of them were losses, and the fourth one was a miss out. Uh, I want to go through the past week weekend recap which I did, as I was planning on executing mainly on using limit orders, which I end up not doing, which is kinda which screwed me up a little bit because I didn't follow my plan for the week which I have set for myself. It's like I didn't change my approach to the markets at all, and it resulted into the losses which I incurred. Also, I was a little bit too busy this week because I was preparing for some exams and shit. So I want to go through the trades which I took and reflect on them and see what wrong did I do. So as you can see right here, before I start, I have my journal right here. It's funny how this journal just came to the page just coincidentally. They filled with the end of the first half of the 2025 year, which is kind of surprising because I didn't expect it to happen like this, but it happened anyway. So I will purchase another journal, but in this second half of the year I will start recording also the images. I will compile them in a journal which is in my phone. So I will be having like visual and written journal in this second part of the year. So as I was journaling, I realized that I didn't get any win, full or partial win this week. As you can see right here, I traded gold and missed out on Euro USD, and on Thursday I traded silver, and on Friday I think I did trade another trade which I have not yet recorded, but I did some silly mistakes which I will go through later on. So starting with gold which I traded on Monday. So something common happened is that I traded a lot in London without a clear bias because I had the schedules to attend to in the afternoon in the AM session, but I forced trades in the London when my bias was not yet clear, which ended up screwing me. So I think I learned my lesson. So right here, if you go to the gold on Monday on the high time frames, I was expecting it was essentially like a FOMO because I didn't anticipate it was a bank holiday, if you remember very well, on the economic calendar on 26th of May 2025. It was a bank holiday. I didn't do my full weekend recap, which includes also checking the economic calendar on the Forex Factory. So it was essentially like a FOMO trade, and even if the market would have reached the my point of interest, I shouldn't be looking for trades on Monday because it was a non-news Monday, a bank holiday, and as the price spiked up on the gold, I tried to frame a reversal and got smoked. You can see how small this little price action right here was. So the only mistake which I made was that I didn't recognize that even though the price spiked up with a lot of volatility on the open of the daily candle, there was no any type of yeah a price action worth of trading right here, because neither the previous week's high or the previous day's low was ever swept on Monday. So you can see how this price action ranged, and I got smoked right here on this long right here. I don't want to go very deep into it. So on going so the main takeaway from there is that I shouldn't be looking for trades at all if I didn't make a full trade recap or journal the trade which I have taken previously. And then on Tuesday, I missed out on Euro USD. If we can come up with the chart of Euro USD. So let's see at the Euro USD a little bit. And so if we can go to the Euro USD, the miss out trade which I didn't take, which would have been a very perfect setup. I seen it happening. If you can record the video, I seen the price action coming, but I was too hesitant to take it, which is the same mistake I do over and over again. When I take the first mistake setup, it's a prime for me to go into the next trade FOMOing or being hesitant, which is actually what we should be keeping our eyes open for. So on the Euro USD, let me put up the chart. You can see that the previous week's high was right here. It was formed on Friday, and on Monday we instantly opened high and ran the previous week's high with this CB right here. On the upcoming, as you can see, when the Tuesday opened, I was anticipating some continuation to the upside, as there was no high time frame divergence to these highs or reverting of the price towards the sell side, which was the Thursday's 2022's low, or at least price reacting off of the equilibrium of the previous week's range. So when the price opened high on Tuesday and formed this high right here, you can see that it started ranging to the downside. If you can see, this 9 p.m. candle was a reversal candle. You can see how it engulfed this candle after sweeping its high, and when it closed below, I was anticipating some set side price action to the downside the remainder of the day. So if you can see, there was some kind of daily CB which was being our draw on liquidity like right here, as also this volume imbalance right here on the 4 hour time frame. So that's when I dropped to the 1 hour time frame on Tuesday. And then keep in mind that this is a balanced price ranges. This CB right here was balanced by this gigantic wick, so I didn't expect some deeper price action right here. That is why my invalidation was this previous week's high, as also this mitigation broke right here. So dropping down to the low time frames, I was keeping my eyes aware of this price action right here, side of this mitigation broke, and price started retracing, leaving these failure swings from the London session, and the majority of this price action happened in the Asian session until to this low right here. So I didn't expect a complete reversal. Instead, I expected continuation to the downside, as you can see. So, drawing lower to the lower time frames. When the price reached here, that's when I dropped to the 5 minute time frame. If you can see, remember very well. Let me scroll back a little bit. There was a little divergence to these highs in accordance. You can see that how this high was never swept on the GBP but Euro swept this high right here. I missed out on this trade essentially because I was essentially watching GBP beforehand, and when price retraced deep right here, I contemplated on either FOMOing into this trade, but I set a limit. I set up a limit the consequent encroachment of this CB right here, this 5 minute CB, which was created at 9:45, anticipating a continuation to the downside. But because Euro, there was a switch of strength which happened when Euro took out this high right here. The price started gyrating to the downside, displacing to the downside more quicker on the Euro than GBP. So my limit order was never filled in on the Euro, and also I was hesitant to put the position on GBP, even though it could have been an even more higher risk to reward. Everything I aligned perfectly, but yeah, my limit was never filled in. As you can see right here, here was the low risk sale right here. The price retraced and Taro souped this high right here and continued in the anticipated direction. This would have been a perfect 1 to 2, I think. Yeah, but I missed out on this, and I didn't want to FOMO in to have a negative risk to reward like the usual. So this would have been a perfect setup. Let's go to the next one, which I took, which was a loss on. No, it was a break-even trade on the silver. So this trade which I took on silver, is bring it up. It was a trade which was taken in the PM session, so it ended up being a break-even trade, even though this I saw this coming, but yeah, the main takeaway I took from this is that even though the setup might be a lot cleaner, but the PM session is if the PM ranges without completing the market maker model, the price is more likely to reverse and continue. So this market was already primed to reverse in the meantime, but I didn't give it a chance to stop me out full loss. That is why I set it at break even. You can see the trade on the channel. I even trades for. I said I don't think this trade I did make on it a video, but I didn't upload it because it was taken in a PM session, and yeah, it was like an overnight trade and I had a lot errands to run, so I didn't have a time to take care of it, uploading it, but you get the point. So this was a break-even trade, if I could. So on Thursday, this gold setup was a setup which was taken a PM session, and the thought process I had was that this price was the price was ranging a little bit too much this whole week, and it was guiding sweeping lows inside of this daily BC, and during the Asian session the price had already taken out the previous day's low right here, and price instantly initiated a very rapid market make and buy model towards this previous day's high, and it was swept during the open of the early AM session. So my thought process was that is the price instantly rejected off of it, but we still had a room to the upside on the gold. As you can see right here, this high was swept. The previous day's high on gold was not yet swept until 9 a.m. So I was anticipating further price action towards the highs. As you can see, there was a reason for the price to reach as these are the failure swings on the you can see all of these failure swings to the upside on the high time frame, which could be targeted, and I tried to frame a market make buy model towards the upside and hold the trade overnight because this order flow was still bullish. So when the price retraced during the PMs, the 10 a.m., you can see how the 10 a.m. swept and closed above this 9 a.m. candle, even though this was an expansion candle. So I anticipated the 11 a.m. candle to be the expansion candle back to the range towards the upside. Also, you can see how this hourly BC was being retested inside of this changing set of delivery right here. Also, we had some kind of divergence on low time frames, which I will go through. So that is why I instantly dropped to the low time frame, even though we were approaching the PM session. So I saw this fractal market bar model. As you can see right here, this 10 a.m. opened low, giving me the confirmation it opened low into the hourly BC right here and changed the state of delivery right here when the price closed right here with this CP. So this model gave me confidence that the price could at least reach the equilibrium of this whole range right here, that this high could be the target. So I did take an entry right here, which I think I wonder why I didn't upload this video, but I will do it in this weekend, and so that you can see what happened. But yeah, the prop firm I'm using allows overnight trades, but anything can happen, as you can see. But I ended up trading to break even as the trade reached 1-to-1 risk to reward, and because the spreads were huge in the night, the price ended up stopping me out, like when the price was right here. But yeah, that was what happened. I was very conscious of the spreads, but I ended up being taken out. So taken out to break even. So this was a break even trade. So on Friday, I think I did take a setup, which was a total loss on the Euro USD. It was a FOMO trade, and had I waited for my model to present itself, I would have banked, because if you remember very well, I could have gotten like a 1 hour, because this setup was a 1-to-2. I missed down on another 1-to-2, and then yeah. If we go back to the high time frames on the Euro USD, if you can see closely, what happened so far was that we swept the previous day's high right here in the Asian session as we opened up the day. This candle ranged, and then this reversal candle swept the previous day's high and came back into the range. So from then on, I was anticipating lower price action, retesting this 4-hour CB right here, which was created during Thursday. So far, the reason why I didn't trade on Thursday Euro was that most of this price action actually happened in the London session, and I was not available. So yeah, what happened so far? On Friday we were wrapping up the week, and what happened was that is I seen these reversal signatures that we might be pushing deeper into this 4-hour CB, and the price has made a successful change in state of delivery. I framed my setups on the daily CBs which were present in this price range. If I can zoom out a little bit on the daily time frame, I think you can see right here this daily buy side, this daily fair value gap, which is coupled with this volume imbalance between the Friday's close and the open of Monday. I paired them with this CB which was formed during you can see this CB which was created on Tuesday 27th of May. So I was anticipating some lower price action towards the sell side, as the price rejected was closing side of this range right here on Thursday. So when the Friday came up and opened high, sweeping the Thursday's high, I instantly dropped to the 1-hour time frame to confirm if the mid time frame have changed the structure. As you can see, there was that change in state of delivery right here inside of this layered fair value gaps, and we were trading lower and lower into that 4-hour fair value gap. So what I've seen was that on the open of the 5 a.m. price started gyrating to the upside, but in the meantime the price also swept the London lows during 7 a.m. open. You can see that it opened low and started gyrating to the upside. So the range which I was monitoring was this what do we call it, a rebalanced price range right here. That was the key area I was monitoring. So this was the key area I was monitoring, and during the 8 a.m. the price formed a slight SMT towards these highs, which gave me an early indication of that the price might be turning bearish, because this divergence happened when so so as you can see, the price action, if you can recall in the trade recap video right here, the price swept to this high which was created on 1 a.m. It's the Asia's high, so I think so. No, it's not the Asia's high, but yeah, you get a point. Also, this high was the high of. Yeah, let's draw to the low time frame and see how I ended up taking the entry before the entry model presented itself, because I did enter too early due to FOMO. When I seen the price closing below this rebalanced price range right here and forming this SMT, I was thinking like I might miss out on this trade because the price was already respecting this rebalanced price range inside of this daily CB, and I might not get an entry which could provide me like 2 hours, which like is a scarcity mindset which screwed me up. I shouldn't have been thinking that way, because the opportunities are plenty in these markets. So whenever you get too greedy or you FOMO into the trade, the setup might be present after you've been stopped out and lost the confidence to hold on or even risking anymore. So when I seen price closing below this rebalanced price range, as you can see on the hourly, yeah, that's when the FOMO kicked in. When this 8 a.m. candle closed, I instantly dropped to the 5-minute time frame and tried to do a turtle soup on this high right here. Yeah, I instantly tried to do a turtle soup, and I got screwed as my stops were a bit like right here. Price closed below it, and I thought to myself that finally the price is going to my direction, but I was wrong. What I have realized is that most of my winning trades never go in a drawdown. When I'm right, the price just spurred to my objective. When I have this drawdown, I tend to hold, waiting for the price to be like direct into my direction, which is a mistake which I shouldn't be doing, because whilst the market was doing its thing, it was respecting actually this rebalanced price range, as you can see right here. So I didn't uh, realize this until I got stopped out almost immediately, because this rebalanced price range was never retested, so I shouldn't be expecting that price could invert it instantly. So also, I think I sold a little bit below the midnight open. There was no stop hunt which happened above the midnight open for me to capitalize on the trade. So had I waited, I could have gotten pretty much the same entry. If I can close this one, you can see that there is a small, tiny, a gigantic fair value gap right here from this high to this low, which is CB, of course. And from this CB right here, I could have gotten an entry from it, like right here, and target the same draw on liquidity, and my stop could have been on this high, even though these SMT have been invalidated by this resweep on the high, but the narrative stays the same, because this if we want to continue lower, this 9 a.m. should have been, the model presented itself before the 9 a.m. open, so that it was the real reason why 9 shouldn't form any other high upper than this and continue to the high time frame order flow, which was bearish. So I ended up being stopped out right there on this high right here. So this could have been the real setup which I could be praying, and as you can see how much it played out perfectly. So with that being said, that was the real reason why whenever I take a stupid setup, I tend to be hesitant to enter into any other trade. So if you can see closely to these lows right here, which were created, remember we are in a 4-hour, we were trading lower into the 4-hour imbalance. So that means when this low is swept, we are digging into the imbalance, so we can look for opportunities to target the external high from internal to external external range liquidity. Also, if you can see these lows right here, you can see that this low was never swept. This low was never swept on the euro, so this was a divergence right here. The same model presented itself, but because I got stopped out due to FOMO, I didn't have any cards to play to the upside again, which could have played out perfectly, because it's the same narrative. Even though we are in a nap trend, you can see how much this price action was quick, and I could have benefited from this buy opportunity, which could have given me like 2R, but because I made a mistake, I didn't want to escalate the problem, so that is why I ended up taking this loss. And I think that's pretty much it. That were the trades which I took in this week. So let me see how much net profit will I be having, considering the mistakes which I made and not considering the mistakes which I made. So starting with, let's consider that I didn't take any trade on Monday, which was a bank holiday. and took Euro USD trade, which I missed out on Tuesday. That would be 2 hour, and let's see, the gold trade which I took on the gold trade which I took on Thursday was a break even. I think I didn't make any mistake at all by holding on gold, but yeah, it was a break even. I don't have to push my edge, but holding trades overnight doesn't doesn't make any sense at all, because you don't know where the next price action could open. Let's suppose I made 1 hour on that silver trade which I took on Thursday, and I've been in a net profit of 3 hours. 3 hours. Considering I waited for this setup to play out and I traded this market make sell model. 3 hours of for the week, and instead I got smoked on like most of them. It's like I ended up in net loss of 3 hours instead, due to FOMO. This shit is harder, but it's just come to the conclusion of the fact that I'm stubborn. Whenever I plan on executing on my edge, I do not do so, and I end up feeling the remorse of not doing what I should have done to take the profits from these markets. I really wonder what kind of self-discipline am I required to execute my edge as I should, because yeah, this shit is hard. But you can see that I was anticipating at least the price to reach the equilibrium of the range, which it did and did. So you can see how the price spiked into the equilibrium of the previous day's range and instantly rejected to the upside. I really do not have a problem of a strategy, but mastering myself is the most difficult. Mastering yourself is the most difficult thing you will ever do, because once you do that, nothing can stand in your way. But seems like I'm making mistakes which I know I shouldn't be doing in the first place, and I always fight with myself whenever I'm in a trade which I shouldn't be taking. Funny enough, it's funny how much peace you can have when you know that you executed your edge. It's pretty much like a hot knife in the butter. The price just go to your target, but my drawings on liquidity are always the correct one, but I tend to screw things up in either one of two ways: FOMOing or not taking the setup, which I know shouldn't be. I shouldn't be taking. So the main takeaway is that I should be mastering myself. My psychology is not the best, as my finances right now are not the greatest, but I can say I'm comfortable, but also I have other desires, I have other things to achieve which are stays in my way from uh, preventing myself from behaving as I should in markets, being a passive observer and predict the market instead of reacting just off of random rivers or entering too early. I I always enter too early more than entering too late, meaning that I am still risk aversive, but I'm really sensitive to risk because uh, I do not also have to blow account after another just because it's a demo. So the main takeaway from this is that I'm going to work on being not needing to take a setup but taking it without hesitation. So in the upcoming week I will make a trade plan for the upcoming week. I'm planning on buying another journal which will encompass the four uh, uh, as I promised myself. I'm going to purchase a new journal for the second half of 2025, but I will make sure that I outline my full strategy in the first pages and make a checklist for journaling my progress towards the second quarter and the second half of 2025. So that is what I'm planning to do. Is this next week will be an NFP week because it's the first week of the month. Yeah, I'm planning to do just that, and on Wednesday I will be having the final exam. Hopefully I can be available to work on that. Yeah, I can work on that at least and see what my progress will be like in the second half of the year, which I will be journaling. So far, this was the best thing I could have ever done, journaling my every trade in the past 6 months. I have seen most of my mistakes are not from the strategy, so I'm not focused on during building like a strategy. Rather, I'm focusing on mastering myself, my emotions when I'm in a trade, reducing the tendencies I tend to have when I'm in a trade, limiting my exposure to risk by risking the same amount. So if you have watched till this time, thank you for sticking around Ivan Trades, and hopefully you gained something from this. If you haven't joined my free Telegram channel, you can join it. It's called Ivan Trades channel, just like that. Ivan Trades channel on Telegram. I share few knowledge and value which you can learn from. So thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.